So back in 2020, I think it was, when we got our first major flood for here, pretty much all behind me where we're standing now, it all just slumped away. I had my ute parked, at least 5 to 6 metres away from the edge of the major erosion that was present at the time. 40 minutes later, that whole area, we're talking, half an acre at least, just slumped away. What our riverbanks usually has our pump sites on them. So the first priority is reinstating them and getting the pump sites sort of stabilised, and you don't have stable banks either side of it. That's just going to then cause more pressure in the flood. With this project, I'm hoping to showcase different types of, species for the erosion control. Show the benefits of turf and what turf does in terms of reinstating the bank first of all. Stops erosion from future washouts and stuff like that. I'm going to showcase different types of species and where they can be used and the benefits of it, because they all do a very similar job in terms of erosion control, and that's why turf is a really good choice for them, and it helps stabilise with the initial bind to it, so it pretty much stops anything from going back out. That's what we're trying to achieve here. In our mind and our experience with the riverbanks, we've been farming this land for 30 odd years, so we've done a lot with riverbanks and been very, we understand what our riverbanks. But for us, having as many tiers, obviously when you go a tier, you sacrifice at some point. You come up in a tier, you're reducing the flat area of your land. If you had a land that come out to here and you could just slope the ice, get more land and then keep a bigger slope, then you gain more land up the top. But the problem that poses is when you do come right to the edge and you do have a real steep cliff as it was, once the foundation's underneath, and for here where we are, we're on real sandy soil, so real loamy soil, and when we had a lot of local rain, the water from from all the farms and locally, all that rain washed through and just become like a sieve, through that sand just become a sieve. So pretty much all that material underneath become just a big sloppy mess, and whatever weight you had above it just didn't have the foundations to hold it and just slumped away. But for what we're doing, we're coming up with suitable 3 to 4 tiers to really stabilise what we've got here, and sacrificing the top part of the bank where we could have possibly more flat land, I suppose, if you want to call it that way, to really focus on supporting the infrastructure that we've got here and making sure that it survives anything that comes at it. The old rule of trees are best is not always the best, but if you have a combination of the trees plus the turf helps with a little bit of the initial erosion, the runoff, and to stop the dirt from actually the foundations from moving, and then the tree has the foundations and to hold the structure, and that's why turf is a really good choice for that, because aggressive root structure that it has helps stabilise that initial bind to it, so it pretty much stops anything from going back out. Most turfs are ideal. All turf has good roots on it. Depending on the situation, so I'm going to use a combination of 3 or 4 different types of species of things. One being a buffalo, and I'll use them up my top level tiers where a bit more erosion, but a bit more like to represent more of a park style. There'll be a couple of different types of zoysias used on the project. Zoysias are really good because zoysias have really good roots on them. And they can be used in areas like a garden style thing where it can be left unmown, and then your kikuus and cooches will be another selection, which is probably one of the most cost-effective solution for large area restoration. But where kikuyu can be a bit more of an issue is they grows really long, really sparse, and when it gets to a certain point where it gets too sparse, then it can open up more opportunity for the water to rush through and potentially have a bit more erosion with it. Your cooches have really good root structure and roots down nice and deep, and then the other benefit of them, they don't grow too long and too messy. They still will grow long and they don't look as messy as what your traditional kikuyu. Turf is a living product and it does need water. So with this project, because we do have the luxury of having a river system right behind us, we're able to get good water supply. So we'll be setting up irrigation to get it established, because that can sort of be the key to the puzzle a lot of the times, is getting the grass established. So what we've got here is just what we go for all irrigation, what we do on the farm, is we think about how easy something is going to be ongoing maintenance. So for us, we want to come to a central spot, have a few taps, where we turn a few taps on when we're running our irrigation on the farm. It's sprinklers start up. They're set in the same spot, they'll water the same area all the time. For us, it's just simplicity, and that way we're not moving things around, we're not trying to chase hoses or whatever else. All right, now we're 6 months in, 6 months from start to finish for the turf side of things, putting the topsoil in, doing the irrigation and laying the turf here. I'm super proud of what we've created here. I'm really happy with the outcome. Super confident in its ability to stabilise the erosion and stabilise our riverbanks here. At the same time, filter any runoff that does go back into the river, because natural turf has that natural ability to do that. The people that utilise projects like this, obviously exact same, riverbank remediation work, and commercial, you're talking council, that sort of thing. And just as simple as residential, mate, looks unreal, and the stability it has underneath is just unbelievable, and that's where I see it being used. I think it's a really good option for anybody looking at stabilising riverbanks and stopping future erosion.